Welcome back to the Pit Check. So I'm far from the only person to notice that over the past couple of years, we've seen an insane increase in the number of EPs and demos versus, actual full-length albums. I mean, we could talk at length about just all of the algorithms forcing you to stay relevant and constantly releasing singles and chasing clicks via TikTok videos. But we're not doing that today because finally this week we've got the return of the LP. Almost everything today is going to be a full-length album. And no bullshit, all of the albums today are genuinely incredible. Some of them are absolutely ending up on the Album of the Year list. Whether you're into metallic hardcore or death metal, whether that be brutal or melodic, or metalcore or slam, this week's list is going to keep the heat up all summer long. Stainless Steel Alabama Straight Edge. The relentlessly aggressive metallic hardcore band No Cure has released this spine-severing new album. It is going to get dark. So there is no way I'm going to be able to be unbiased in this review because I fucking love this band. But good news is I don't have to, because if you can physically hear this album, you don't need me to tell you that this thing is gonna fucking destroy venues. I am in love with these riffs. They're so fucking pummeling while being absurdly precise, sharp, and best of all, unique. If you follow this channel, it should be no surprise that I'm obsessed with this guitar work because there's so much inspiration from and homage to all of this just classic 90s ripping death metal, while elevating that with this just cast iron bludgeoning hardcore heartbeat, plus these menacing and biting vocals that cut right through you. This is like being severed piece by piece with a rusty hacksaw. There's also some disgusting features here from some of the best bands on the scene right now. We've got my goats, the Acacia Strain, as well as Inclination and Bayway and Varials and Cell. This is a nearly perfect album, and you're absolutely going to hear me just yapping about it until, actually probably after Album of the Year discussions. I'm still going to be talking about this bitch. Australian melodic death metal. The wildly underrated band Destruction of the Healer has released their sophomore album, A Universe Bereaved. Genuinely, this might be the melodic death metal album of the year so far. This thing is so creative and dynamic for the entire hour-long runtime. This is such a good blend of that 90s Gothenburg death metal with the dueling guitar harmonies and extremely technical riffs, but with the inclusion of this just destructively heavy, classic American death metal. So there's a lot of inspiration here from bands like At the Gates and Black Dahlia and Insomnium, but without ever sounding like they're trying to, bite their style or steal their riffs. This band stands completely on its own with a soul-crushing sound that is every bit as emotional and haunting as it is physically violent. I fell in love with this album, and let's be real, I can't recommend it enough. Please don't quote me out of context when I say how much I love this band. The The Powerviolence band Sex Prisoner has finally ended their 8-year hiatus from releasing new music by caving our heads in with this monumental new album, Cautionary Tale. This album is as if someone was able to scientifically distill the concept of hostility into music. This is pedal to the metal, full nitrous from moment one. The Fast and the Furious is like the slow and the steady compared to this album. Fuck, that was so bad. Don't use that. I am beyond hooked on how abrasive and beefy these guitar and bass tones are. The punky grooves and rhythms are so infectious before they rip your jaw off with a barrage of violent, chuggy riffs. Or as they say, concrete thick riffs that hit with the precision of pulling out a switchblade in the middle of a dirty street fight. This album is 16 tracks long, but it does clock in at just under 20 minutes, so they literally waste zero time. All of the fat is not just trimmed, but beaten off. Wait, that's not what This is messy, it's passionate, it's in your face, and it's just fucking incredible. This album will literally make you say, God, I love Sex Prisoner, no matter where you are in public. Oh, sorry. It's just a band, it's a band. Did you know members from Morbid Angel, Incantation, Cryptopsy, and Dream Theater have a supergroup? The progressive and technical death metal band Arise from Worms has released their debut album, A Bleeding Tree Hanging Self-Destruction. This one is definitely going to be more for instrumental lovers or people that want to focus on the guitar work and the drumming and stuff. This thing is 97.6% just circle jerking their sheer musicianship and craftsmanship. And I'm so here for it. I love this shit. This is going to sound crazy, but this is sort of like if Rush was a death metal band. There's so many just mind-bendingly intricate and creative patterns and song structures and solos and shredding that have me convinced that these dudes are doing some kind of Space Jam soul magic to become genetic freaks.
I got it.
And they even go crazy with these jazzy staccato rhythms that are so hard to pull off if you're not 100% in lockstep with each other, which obviously as veterans, they are. These little clips are just not going to do this band justice at all, because the journey these songs take you through is so unexpected and refreshingly nostalgic. Not for a specific sound, but more for a specific way of writing. It really does feel like this band fell out of a time machine from an alternate universe where death metal took over for the 70s prog rock scene. Very cool band, very unique album. Highly recommend if you're into the weirder but super technical side of death metal. Hey, if you find even a single cool album or something you want to check out today, please, subscribe to the show, leave a comment, send it to your friends, do something that helps out the channel because it really would mean a lot. I put a lot of work into these videos and you guys seem to like them a lot. So I just hope that, one day we can really hit that algorithm hard. Thank you guys, and let's get back to the show. The German hardcore scene is insane. The hardcore crossover band Soulprison has put out their debut album, The More I See, The More I Bleed. I I hope you like metallic riffs, because this band is gonna force feed them to you. Like it or not, here it comes. This whole album is so punchy and hammering, it's like starting a fight with construction workers. And the well just never seems to run dry, as there is no shortage of knuckle sandwiches to give out, with 11 songs at nearly 40 minutes. And they somehow always find the perfect melody to accentuate the brutal aggression. If you're a fan of bands like Guilt Trip or Malevolence or Judiciary, this will be so far up your alley, it hurts. But one thing I do really appreciate is the way this band puts a message behind the violence, exploring the general theme of the side of life we kind of choose to ignore and opening your eyes to the plight of those around you, including, quote, death, loss, war, addiction, and the feeling of helplessness. And that, quote, these are heavy, dark themes, but they're real, and in a way, they connect all of us. Pennsylvania Metalcore. The surprisingly modern metalcore band What Lies Below has released their debut album, I Let It Consume Me. It's funny, in a world where now everyone seems to be chasing this throwback 2000s sound, it almost came as a surprise to have such a slick, impressive production on a new metalcore album. And it services this band's djenty, proggy influence perfectly. If you're into the bouncy and technical, melodic flavor of metalcore, this should absolutely be on your radar. With bands like Invent Animate and Silent Planet and Aviana and even to some extent Auras, that sound really having a chokehold on the late 2010s and early 2020s, it's cool to see that that influence hasn't just died out and that there's still plenty more room for this to grow. There's also a great balance of heartfelt emotion and clean choruses without feeling like they have to shoehorn in a hook into every song. I was actually really impressed with the, restraint that they showed here. And they let some songs that are clearly super aggressive just be super aggressive without having to lose that momentum. And in general, these instrumentals are just beyond impressive, effortlessly walking that line of showing off and servicing the song. So, how much bass do you want? Yes! Oh my god. The Beatdown hardcore band Final Resting Place has finally released their debut album, Third World Tribunal. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room first. The mix sounds like shit. I like it, but to be fair, I have acquired this taste already. This is what all of my bands in college sounded like. Refurbished 2009 MacBook GarageBand users, where you at? I do wish the bass drum and low end didn't quite blow out the mix though. I can get down with the wall of sound vibe, especially where it's more about the punchy rhythmic patterns and slams than it is about being able to, distinguish the actual riffs. Especially when you have that obscenely high cranked snare drum that cuts right through the mix and your butthole. But when there's, the longer double bass runs, unfortunately the mix just falls apart. I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would, and it did put a dumb fucking grin on my face quite a few times, but I will not argue with you if you say it sounds like poopy butt doo-doo farts. I think we can all agree though, these songs are gonna go fucking nuclear live. The roaring 20s are in full force. Here are 4 skramz and throwback metalcore post-hardcore bands that you don't want to sleep on. First up, we've got the Jacksonville metalcore band Trust with their debut album, These Scattered Dreams. This one is just some good old messy Myspace metalcore. I love how much this band leans into the melodic and emotional side of the genre. It's got those spoken word segments and raw, no auto-tune clean singing, and my personal favorite, the bass is cranked way up and tuned way low. Plus these extremely satisfying chuggy open note breakdowns that go perfectly with these feral vocals. Next up is the Milwaukee screamo skramz band Snag, who just released their 3rd studio album, All the Cages Holding Us Will One Day Turn to Dust. This one dials the emotional angle up to 11. This has a great mix of like emo violence into their screamo skramz post-hardcore vibes that really live up to their whole climate core angle. The instrumentals are textured and have this like open, empty space that I'm absolutely in love with. Apparently the album was tracked live to tape, so that could explain this really like gritty, tangible feel, which perfectly suits this harsh belting at the top of your lungs, gasping and grasping to be heard vibe. This is a gorgeous fucking album. Highly recommended. Then we've got the Merseyside baddiecore band Rozemary. If you're not already aware, this is a fantastic fucking band, and I'm surprised to see them with another EP already. Their last one came out not too long ago, and it also rips. This is some of that like dreamy, shoegazy metalcore, kind of hitting that like Loathe, Thornhill, maybe some Spirit Box kind of vibes. And I love how much this band does not lean on any sort of like over-polished production. It's got a really nice DIY feel to it, and the guitars get to show off with some really catchy melodies. I know it's like dreamy, but don't actually sleep on this band. And to wrap things up, we've got the mathcore and metalcore band Liasis with their debut EP. Hey, is this yours? This band is so fucking up my alley. It's somehow chaotic and off the wall while also being emotional and passionate, while also being goofy as hell and not taking itself too seriously. They play, quote, musical mischief and, quote, combine harmony with cacophony. I super dig this, and I think you will too if you're into bands like the Dillinger Escape Plan or the Mars Volta or definitely the Callous Dowboys. And now it's time to check back in on the Death Corner. Here are 3 brutal new Myspace deathcore and slam albums you don't want to miss. First up, the Florida deathcore revival band Peacemaker has released their debut album, Spill Your Guts. Good God, this thing is disgusting. This isn't just bringing back that throwback deathcore sound. It's helping push it forward into the new age. I'm so glad we've got bands like this that aren't just ripping off riffs and aesthetics from the Myspace deathcore bands, you know, just abusing the bass drops and chugs. And don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of bass drops and chugs here, but the technical riffs and the blasting drummer and the throat-ripping screams are all top fucking tier. Every single member here is just oozing with talent. Then we've got the North Carolina Myspace deathcore band Targeted with their debut album, Keep Your Eyes Skinned. This one has much more of that kind of bedroom deathcore feel to it. I don't know if that's a genre or not, but it's got that really like gritty, tinny sound that reminds me so much of recording vocals out of my dorm room freshman year. And it has this almost like bit crunched sound like you're downloading it off LimeWire. But again, I like that this isn't like dominated by the aesthetics. There's a lot of really creative songwriting and a lot of brutal death metal influence and even some modern influences like the hip hop and sample infused Dirty South vibe that you'll see in like Peeling Flesh or Bolt Cutter. Plus, of course, just the nastiest gutturals and slams. And finally, the quote anime slam band Dehumanizing Itatrain Worship has released their latest album, 2D Complex. This is some Chinese, quote, otaku desu metal. Okay, so I had to look up what an Itatrain is, and apparently they're commuter trains that are wrapped in anime girls. I guess there were Ita cars, and then they started doing that for trains. And yeah, so they seem to amass a bunch of weeb stalkers, maybe potentially playing some pocket pool on the train. So this band name and all of the aesthetics are actually satirically kind of based. We love a gory, brutal feminist king. And musically, this thing is utter insanity in the best way possible. It's savagely brutal and shredding, the vocals are crazy, and the song structures are just off the wall, and there's so many just hard left turns into passages that shouldn't work, but always do. Plus, it's got these like industrial elements and samples and glitches and even orchestral moments and spacey atmospheric moments, and they somehow always perfectly mirror these constantly shredding guitars. Plus, we've got features from Earthists, Distant, Ripped to Shreds, Pale, No Face, No Case, and more. Highly recommended. And here are, of course, all of the albums and demos that were released this week. So much good stuff to pick from. It was, again, really, really hard to try and narrow this down. I'm sure I'm going to get some flack by not covering certain ones of these bands. So if anything looks good on here, definitely check it out. And please DM me if you've got a band that has an album coming out. Send me a link, hopefully like an advanced copy so I can review it ahead of time. And just like, thank you for all the love you guys have been giving on both this video and on my Instagram and TikTok. You guys are showing up in the comments and it makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. I love you guys. All right, catch you next week, and hope these albums will keep your summer playlists beefy as hell.